this is Himuro Mansion.
Fatal Frame, known in Japan as Zero and known as Project Zero in Europe, was released on December 13th, 2001 Japan, March 4th, 2002 in North America, and August 30th, 2002 in Europe. A special edition of the game was released for Xbox later that year. The game was released on the PlayStation Network in 2013 as a PS2 classic. For this review, I'll be looking at the 2013 PS2 classic release. As usual, before we get into gameplay, let's cover the plot. Skip to this point in the video to avoid spoilers. Fatal Frame begins with Mafuyu Hinazaki going to Himuro Mansion to look for the author Junsei Takamine, who went missing after entering the mansion. While in the mansion, he hears strange noises, and it isn't long until he encounters a ghost. He's able to capture the ghost with his camera, but not too long after he encounters the first ghost, he comes across an extremely scary and more threatening ghost. He is unable to fight against it. We cut to some time later, now of control of Mafuyu's sister, Miku Hinazaki. She has come to the mansion looking for her brother. Not long after she enters the mansion does she find her brother's camera, which is lucky for her because only a few rooms later she starts to encounter hostile ghosts. As you go through the mansion on the first night, you begin to find out what happened to Takamine and his group. Koji Ogata came to the mansion but was killed by the rope curse, which caused Tomoe Hirazaki to come looking for him. She was then killed by the rope curse, which caused Mr. Takamine to come looking for her. Then he was killed by the rope curse, which caused Mafuyu to come looking for him. Like some kind of twisted human domino set. After Miku encounters Takamine's ghost, she gets touched by the ghost that Mafuyu saw on his first night. Once the ghost touches her, Miku is infected with the rope curse. Rope marks begin to appear on her body, and she passes out. During your second night at Himuro Mansion, you find out about the ritual for choosing the Rope Shrine Maiden, a maiden who is sacrificed to keep the Baos at bay. A game of demon tag. Say what you want about Lord Himuro, he was very unique. You also encounter this bitch for the first time. This is the blinded woman. She was blinded by the Himuro Mansion for the sacrifice. On the second night, Miku gets a vision of a woman who looks like her mother, wielding the camera that Miku is using right now. This is Yai. She is Miku Mafuyu's grandmother. She thought her daughter was killed by a ghost in the house and was killed herself. Yai isn't important right now, but keep her in mind for when we talk about Fatal Frame 2 next week. The second night ends with Miku going deep underground in the mansion. She encounters the ghost from the first night and gets touched again, causing more ropes to appear on her body. During the third night, Miku encounters the ghost of the head of the Himuro family, Lord Himuro. Okay, so get this. After the last Shrine Maiden ritual, which when they tried to sacrifice a maiden called Kyrie, failed, Lord Himuro went insane, took his sword, and chopped up everyone he saw in the mansion. Men, women, guests, priests, everyone. He even uses some of their heads in some of their attacks. After some more exploring, Miku is able to get to the bottom of the well and begins to make her way to the Abyss of Malice. Miku isn't dumb. She knows by now that the ghost who has been infecting her with the rope curse is Kyrie, and that her camera won't affect her. She runs away from Kyrie and barely manages to escape. During your final night in Himuro Mansion, you learn more about Kyrie. She fell in love with a visitor in the mansion. Because she fell in love, she couldn't sever worldly ties during her sacrifice, so the ritual is doomed to fail. Because of this, the Himuro family killed Kyrie's lover and didn't tell her. She found out though, and her anger unleashed a malice onto the mansion. Once you get to the abyss, you find a note from Mafuyu. It says that he has been seeing Miku as he makes his way through the mansion. Throughout the game, you frequently see what seems to be Mafuyu's ghost. The fact that he's not dead after all is actually a plot twist. Once Miku reaches the Malice, she has a final encounter with Kyrie. She's able to put a stop to Kyrie's rampage thanks to the Sacred Mirror, the last shard of which was in her camera. Kyrie goes to do her duty of keeping the Malice sealed, and Miku reunites with Mafuyu. However, Mafuyu chooses to stay behind with Kyrie, so that she doesn't have to suffer alone forever. Miku leaves the mansion alone, leaving her brother.
Ever since that day, I stopped seeing things that other people don't see.
Ha, you have at least 2 more games, Miku. And that was Fatal Frame 1. The story is basic, however it does unintentionally foreshadow some events of future Fatal Frame games. I'm reviewing the first three Fatal Frame games the next 3 weeks, so I'll hold my thoughts on the PS2 trilogy story till the end of my Fatal Frame 3 review. Although, I will say now that I call bull on the based on a true story tagline. Alright, now that the plot is out of the way, let's cover the gameplay. Fatal Frame is a classic survival horror game, but what separates it and makes it unique is its most famous mechanic, the camera. With this camera, you can fight against ghosts in the mansion. The camera works like this: you aim it at ghosts, and the longer it's pointed at them, the greater its charge will be. The greater the charge, the more damage you will do when you take the photo. Of course, there's an even better way to damage ghosts. If you take a picture when the ring of the camera turns red, you'll do a zero shot. A zero shot will do a large amount of damage and knock a ghost backwards. Zero shots are undebatably the best way to fight against ghosts, but if you're a first-time player, don't be afraid to just do charge shots. Most zero shots are only available when the ghosts are right in front of your face. Your reflexes will be at the top of their game to pull them off. While we're on the topic of the camera, let's talk about the greatest aspect of Fatal Frame 1's camera control. The triangle button lets you instantly turn around. This is a great mechanic since the ghosts move fast as and can easily get behind you. This mechanic sadly doesn't return in Fatal Frame 2 or 3. In the beginning of the game, your camera is weak, but by taking pictures of wandering ghosts or battling ghosts, you get points which can be used to upgrade your camera. How fast you'll be able to upgrade your camera is dependent on how fast your reflexes are at capturing wandering ghosts. Taking pictures of these wanderers is the difference between having a fully upgraded camera by the end of Night 1, and not having it fully upgraded until the final night. Another function of the camera is special abilities, such as making ghosts visible for a longer amount of time. You get these abilities throughout the game. Sadly, I didn't get much use of these because they cost a resource that's relatively scarce. Spirit Stones. Speaking of items, Fatal Frame 1 is the most forgiving in restocking items. You'll have more herbal medicines and sacred waters than you'll ever need. That is, if you can get good at fighting the 2 hardest ghosts in the game. Before we talk about those 2, let's talk about the ghosts in general. The ghosts in this game are great. They all make classic moaning sounds, and while in the beginning of the game you'll be encountering the lamer ghosts like Rope Man and Mr. Longarms, by the end of the game you'll be encountering, oh god, what is that? What is that? What the hell is that? Ahem. Yes, things escalated. There are rooms where you are required to fight ghosts, but if you're just wandering around for a long time, the game will give you a random encounter. These random encounters can range from ghosts you've already fought to unique things like a floating head and a puff of smoke. Alright, time to talk about the 2 hardest ghosts in the games. First, let's talk about the Himuro family master. He's cool, but god damn is he hard to fight. He is really fast, he's got ranged attacks. You fight him twice, and both of those times you fight in small, confined rooms. His zero shot frame is also really small, and if you don't zero shot him, that katana is going right through you. Next up we have this bitch. This is the blinded woman. As the name implies, she is blind. She can't see you. So how does she attack you? She can hear you. If you make noise, such as a camera shot, she'll charge at you like a bull. That I'm okay with. What I'm not okay with is her hearing your footsteps. You need to move around while fighting her to avoid getting hit, but any movement will give away your position and she will hit you. The only reliable way I know of when it comes to avoiding her is exploiting a glitch. Mash the run button and Miku will look like this. When doing that, blinded won't hear you, but I hate having to exploit a glitch to comfortably beat a game. By the way, you fight her before you fight Himuro Family Master, but she's easily harder than him. And that was Fatal Frame 1. It's definitely a good game, but it does have problems in both story and gameplay. It's still plenty playable. I definitely recommend it, but maybe not as the first Fatal Frame game you play. It's best to start with one of the later games in the series, and then come back to this one. I'm Skeith, and I'll see you next week with another review.